have 10 lies that pro-choicers most commonly believe.
Yes.
We pretty much have gone through the whole speech. So we're going to read each other the lie,
yes.
and then you're going to give 60 seconds. And dang it, I'm going to time you, woman.
Oh, no. I'm a talker.
I'm going to time you.
This is why I just hit live every night.
I know. This is why you do lives. I got my timer. You have 60 seconds.
Lie number 1, babies are just clumps of cells. I usually spend like 30 minutes on this, but we're just going to focus specifically on the first trimester. As you know, I'm going to reiterate that study from the University of Chicago. It was republished by Princeton. 96% of about 5,500 biologists at over 1,000 universities agree, even though they are overwhelmingly liberal, hold a PhD, non-religious, and would consider themselves to be pro-choice, that life begins at conception, a unique human life. From the 3rd to the 8th week of pregnancy, it is not just a clump of cells like you might see on your Instagram. Structures and organs that later become your brain and spinal cord, the neural tube, the head, eyes, mouth, and limbs start to form. The heart begins to pulse. Buds that become your arms and legs ultimately form by the 6th week. By the 8th week, your organs and your systems are there. And babies throughout pregnancy do have their own sentience. They feel pain. They feel the emotions of their mother. They contribute back to their mother in their immune system and actually have their own sense of taste as well.
Damn, that was good. Okay.
Boom.
Bam. All right. Second lie. Chemical abortion is a safe and efficient way to end the life of the child in the womb. Chemical abortions are 4 times more dangerous than a traditional surgical abortion. They are 10 times more deadly than a traditional surgical abortion. One study in California using California Medicaid data and run that insurance for poor people found that chemical abortion pills increased ER-related abortion visits by 500%. Just last week, the 5th Circuit of Appeals ruled that the FDA, using the FDA's own language and the FDA's own patient advisory form that they wrote and approved themselves in 2000, they wrote, the FDA, that 2 to 7% of women who undergo a chemical abortion will face an emergency incomplete abortion and will have to seek emergency care to prevent sepsis infection that could kill her. With 5 million chemical abortions in America since 2000, that's between 100 and 360,000 women. So it's a problem.
I'm stealing your last 3 seconds, and we're polluting the environment with the abortion pill, which we didn't really get to talk too much about tonight.
This is chemicalabortion.com.
If you consider yourself to be an environmentalist, the abortion pill is the worst
thing
possible. Okay, third lie. Miscarriages and ectopic pregnancy treatment is abortion. You guys heard us talk a lot about that tonight. That is not true, and it really centers around the fundamental difference between the removal of an already dead child, a child that has unfortunately passed away from the womb, and the intentional killing of an alive human child out of choice, usually out of convenience that you no longer want to carry that pregnancy. We hear the lie all the time that women who have a miscarriage, which now they're starting to say is almost 1 in 4 pregnancies, so this is incredibly widespread, very normal for women to deal with miscarriage, and that's very sad. A larger commentary on infertility rates in our country are going to go to prison. That is not true. States with abortion ban laws like Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Florida that we just talked about today specifically define under law that treatment for a miscarriage and ectopic pregnancy is fundamentally different than an elective abortion.
Done.
Oh.
I'm
going to beat
down.
your expectations of me.
Third lie, hormonal birth control prevents abortion. That's not true. Just look what I said earlier at all the blue states in our country that give out hormonal birth control for free to anyone. They also have the highest abortion rates in America. You can also look at the Alan Guttmacher Association, the statistics organization founded by Planned Parenthood's second president, Alan Guttmacher, who's also the vice president of the American Eugenics Association. Guttmacher says that contraceptive use has been rising since the 1970s. An increase in contraceptive use during the 70s did not reduce the incidence of abortion. Their 2003 Guttmacher study showed the contraceptive use and abortion rates rose simultaneously in every control. In the UK, the largest abortion vendor there, BPAS, their executive director said to their national media, quote, "Our data shows women cannot control their fertility through contraception alone. Even when they're using some of the most effective methods, family planning is contraception abortion. Abortion is birth control that women need when the regular method lets them down."
In other words, birth control doesn't stop abortion, it actually fuels it, and don't take it, it destroys your brain. It's not
actually
good.
Have sex more with people who they may not want to actually have a child.
Okay, our next lie I'm not going to say up front. First, I'm even going to say, are we playing Jurassic Park out here now? That's incredibly ironic because what a dinosaur way of looking at human rights. So that's just very strange to me. But the fact that I even have to stand up here and ask you this question blows my mind. What organ do you need to have as a human being as a precursor to grow another human being and create a human life? A uterus. I love how everybody's just like.
Everyone is so shy to ever answer that
Nobody
question.
wants to say it out loud. A uterus. Yes, that is a womb. That is what grows a child. Who has a uterus? Women. Thank you. This is a college campus of higher
Superheroes.
education. Not people who menstruate, not birthing people, not people who bleed, not chest feeders, which is what the government is calling us now. You laugh, but I'm dead serious. The federal government is calling us that. Women. Our society is degrading womanhood and boiling womanhood down to something so simple as birthing people, which frankly I find unbelievably offensive and just about the least feminist thing that you could possibly say, especially if you call yourself a feminist. The gift that you have as a woman to create life is the most badass, punk rock, incredible thing that you could possibly do.
All right, you're off.
I have no idea, and I'm over time, but I have no idea why our society is so comfortable letting the capacities of women that belong to us, that are beautiful, that should be celebrated and protected, suddenly belong to people who bleed or men with penises. I hear stories every day on my social media of women who walk into their OBGYN, and there are several men sitting there seeking treatment for abortion or pregnancy who have a penis, and these poor doctors have to figure out how the hell to communicate with these people. Planned Parenthood is lying to you when they say that anybody can have a child, women can get pregnant, and they're actually interested in destroying gender even further by becoming one of the largest distributors of hormone treatment for teenagers today, often without consent and most often without a signed letter from a therapist even giving you a diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
Which
so
actually
they're so bent on
completes
destroying gender too.
That actually completes their founder Margaret Sanger's original intention, which was sterilization of those she deemed unfit. So transgender wrong sex hormone therapy actually completes their mission, their founding mission, better than abortion. Next one, women need abortion to succeed. As you just saw at the last question, absolutely not. That is a regressive, antiquated, anti-feminist view to believe that I need access to a special surgery in order to make my body like the normative male body in order to be equal to men in our society. I know women do not need that to be equal to men in our society. I was valedictorian, I was high school, whatever the valedictorian of college is. I run a $20 million a year organization. I, can be any man on any SAT score probably out there in that audience. Maybe not in here, but definitely out there. I definitely know that I am not less than to men simply because I have a womb and a vagina. Women do not need abortion to succeed, and that is an anti-feminist. You need to stop allowing these anti-feminist statements out there. It's a completely disempowering statement to tell our women and our young girls in our society that they have to have access to a surgery that ends the life of other young women in order to succeed. There is something better and something more we can do.
Particularly from all of these large woke corporations who are really just abdicating from their responsibility to take care of the women who work for them, because it's a whole lot cheaper to pay for a trip to a luxury 5-star resort for one night for you to get an abortion out of state than to pay for your maternity leave and paid family leave after your child is born. Ridiculous that we still fall for this lie. Next lie, my body, my choice. We talked about it all night tonight. It is quite literally not your body. This is a genetically unique human being with their own sentience, their own sense of pain, their own sense of emotions, their own DNA. They actually end up donating some of their stem cells back through the umbilical cord and the placenta to their mom to actually help their mom and strengthen her immune system, which is crazy. So this is a symbiotic relationship. We're often told this is like a parasite when we go speak on college campuses. It is not. This is a unique human being, and I think especially as we venture into the very odd dystopian world of artificial wombs, which we kind of touched on tonight, we didn't get a lot of chance to go into. Please go research this for yourself. This is an interesting way to change people's minds that I really never thought about until some of these questions tonight. If a child can grow outside of the womb of the mother, clearly it is not your body.
But, some people don't get that. Okay, oh man, I messed up my timer. How am I going to time myself now? Oh, I'm just going to have to guess. Okay, I don't know where we're at. Planned Parenthood cares about women. Planned Parenthood does not care about women. We know this every time we look at their annual reports. from Planned Parenthood. Every time they release an annual report, it is very clear in the past 22 years, their number of abortions continue to skyrocket. Their quote-unquote good services, every year when you look at their report, continues to decline. According to their September 2022 released annual report, they committed 883,000 abortions. That's 1,050 children lost every day, more than 360 black children specifically. 37% of their income comes from the government grants and reimbursements section. Planned Parenthood, if you look at that same time frame of abortion, their increase, they saw an 8.5 increase from last annual report to this annual report. At the same time frame, cancer screenings fell by 30%, well women tests fell by 39%, STD tests fell by 17.4%, pregnancy tests fell by over 14%. In the past 20 years, the number of abortions committed at Planned Parenthood affiliates increased an astounding 80%. During the same period, prenatal services offered by Planned Parenthood declined by more than 43%. You don't have to believe me at all. You can call Planned Parenthood across America in any city today. Ask them if they provide diapers. Ask them if they provide training for new mothers and new fathers. Ask them if they provide prenatal services. Ask them if they do adoption referrals. They don't do these things, or mammograms. They don't do them. Next.
The last lie I have the privilege of breaking down with you today is the idea that you have to be religious to be pro-life. Both of us standing up here are religious, but as I mentioned during one of our questions earlier today, many of the people who work with this organization and the pro-life movement at large are not. This is not a religious denominational issue. This is not even a partisan issue. This is a human rights issue at the end of the day. I've had so many interesting conversations with people across the spectrum in the pro-life movement, from hyper-capitalist libertarian Catholics all the way to atheist democratic socialists, which is a different conversation for a different time, that are noticing what is happening with the absolute, frankly, genocide that's happening against the preborn children in our society today because of one characteristic, their size and their age and being inside of a womb, and realizing that this is the greatest human rights atrocity that may have ever happened in all of human history. This puts the numbers of the Holocaust to shame, and not only do we let it happen, we celebrate it in the hallways of our college campuses, on America's streets, on our social media feeds, and everywhere in between. It certainly provides an interesting perspective if you are religious and believe that each person was created in the unique image of God, which is beautiful, but you don't have to be religious to believe that to be pro-life is the right answer.
The last lie is pro-lifers don't care about women, and hopefully you saw today in our comments that we absolutely do care about women. In the pro-life movement, pro-lifers have been supporting, sustaining more than 3,000 pregnancy resource centers, maternity homes, and communities across America for nearly 50 years in America. That vastly outnumbers the fewer than 600 abortion facilities. We already fund with our taxpayer dollars FQHCs, federally qualified health centers, that number nearly 8,000, that serve rural and low-income neighborhoods, that provide every service that Planned Parenthood provides, minus abortion, plus a whole host more of other services. And if you present yourself at a federally qualified health center and you need a health service they don't provide, they are legally obligated to make sure you get a referral to another health service and make sure you have transportation, help you find transportation to that health service. We are already funding that in our government today. In fact, my dream comes true when every Planned Parenthood in America shuts down. Each federally qualified health center would only have to see 2 more patients a week to make up the difference, because Planned Parenthood is seeing less than 2 million patients every year. Federally qualified health centers see more than 21 million men, women, and children every single year. As I pointed out before, when you talk about adoption statistics, foster care statistics, the demographic in America most likely to adopt or foster children are Christians. If you look at the demographic in America of who's most likely to be pro-life, not that you have to be, it's also Christians. It's always the same damn people. We're the ones with the big vans who show up to church on Sunday or go to Chick-fil-A on Saturday afternoon to gather up all of our chicken nuggets before Chick-fil-A closes on Sunday. We are proud of that fact. When you look on college campuses, what Students for Life does here at UNH, what Students for Life groups are doing across the country, we are the ones that set up diaper showers and enforce the Title IX laws that are already in place on college campuses. We're the ones who go out and pray or stand silently in front of Planned Parenthood's and other abortion facilities, offering women who've already had abortions hope and healing, and offering women who are considering abortion another nonviolent alternative. We are the ones hosting discussions on campuses for how to transform our campuses to be friendly towards pregnant and parenting students. That is who we are in the pro-life movement.